Hi everybody. We've gone into a lot of detail on the steps it takes to buy the home you rent. Now let's put all the steps together into a quick overview of how to pitch your landlord. The best case scenario is your landlord approaches you and asks you if you would be interested in buying the home. You don't know if your landlord is willing to sell it at market price yet, but at least you know your landlord is interested in selling it. That's a great start. The other scenario is that you pitch the idea to your landlord. When you approach your landlord about selling, the most likely answer is no. Your landlord isn't interested in selling to you or to anyone else, at least right now. Really, it takes a bit of luck to have a landlord who's interested in selling to you at the same time you're interested in buying from them. But don't worry about approaching your landlord about buying the place. Even if your landlord doesn't want to sell, your landlord will like being asked. It shows them there's a market for the place, so don't be afraid about asking. Although, if your landlord doesn't want to sell, they may start wondering if you're going to renew the lease next time, or if you're just going to go out and buy a home instead. Anyway, if you're lucky, you'll catch your landlord going through their annual decision-making process. Should I continue renting it out for another year, or should I sell it and cash out now? Don't be afraid to remind your landlord of some of the possible advantages to selling to you that we covered in an earlier video. Some advantages to your landlord are more money. Your landlord might make more money. Your landlord might not have to pay for any real estate agents. Your landlord probably won't have to pay to fix up the place before selling it to you. And your landlord definitely won't have any vacancy cost while selling the place to you. Faster money. Your landlord could have their money in 2 or 3 months. That would be months earlier than if they tried to sell the house the normal way. Smoother sale. Your landlord already knows you and you have an ongoing business relationship as landlord and tenant. The sale might go unusually smoothly between the two of you. Now, if your landlord uses a property manager and you don't know your landlord personally, you might start the ball rolling by asking the property manager if the landlord might be interested in selling to you. Now, before you pitch your landlord, you want to do some research online. In particular, you want to get a ballpark feel for what the house is worth and whether you can afford it. If you think it's likely your landlord will want to sell, you should get pre-approved for a mortgage loan before pitching your landlord. But if you're just testing the waters with your landlord, it's a good idea to at least get a mortgage loan officer to get you pre-qualified before pitching your landlord. If you were only pre-qualified when you pitched your landlord, and it turns out your landlord is interested, then you need to see if you can get pre-approved right away before you go any further. You don't want to send your landlord on a wild goose chase looking into selling the house to you, and then you have to come back later and say, never mind, it turns out I can't get a loan. Sorry about that. Don't do that. Get your ducks in a row before pitching the idea to your landlord. Let's say you got pre-approved for a mortgage loan, and one way or another, you know your landlord is interested in talking to you about selling the place to you. The next major step is to try and come to a written agreement with your landlord about the price and terms. When it comes to buying a house from a landlord, some steps are done the same as in a normal sale. The earlier step of getting pre-approved for a mortgage loan, for example, is the same as in a normal sale. And later on, once you have a written contract with the seller, the landlord, the inspections and closing steps are pretty much the same as in a normal sale. But this step, this negotiating price and terms with your landlord step, is often done very differently from a normal home sale. That's because when you're buying from your landlord often won't pay for your real estate agent, and that changes a lot of things. At the beginning, try to feel out your landlord on the price. Does your landlord have a price in mind, and how locked in is your landlord on that price? Would your landlord consider basing the sales price on an appraisal? If your landlord would consider basing the sales price on an appraisal, that's awesome. That's a very good sign you'll be able to work out a deal with your landlord. Check out the videos in the pre-appraisal section of this course for a couple of different ways to approach pre-appraisals. You're not going to negotiate the whole contract verbally up front. In fact, don't commit to anything verbally. everything is tentative on everything else. You're just feeling things out. You're just trying to figure out if you're close enough that it's worth your money to hire a real estate agent or a real estate attorney to help you draft a full written offer. So here's the game plan. You pitch the idea of selling the place to your landlord. If your landlord is interested in talking to you about it, you'll see if you can come to a tentative agreement on a few major points like the general price range or whether to use an appraisal to help set the price. If you come to a tentative agreement on some major points, or at least it looks like you will eventually be able to come to an agreement, you hire a real estate agent or a real estate attorney to write up your offer. From then on, the negotiations are in writing with offers and counteroffers, just like in a normal sale. The main difference here is that you'll be paying for your own real estate agent or attorney out of your own pocket. That out-of-pocket cost makes you extra cautious about making offers. And unlike in a normal sale, you'll worry about the cost of the real estate agent or real estate attorney. Okay, in the next short video, we'll show you a sample email you can use as the basis for pitching the idea to your landlord.